Our next speaker is Tony Wagner, who's chair of the board of O'Connor House and took over the reins from Mary and Dennis, and has guided this project with great aplomb and sophistication. Ladies and gentlemen, and neighbour right here, Tony Wagner.
Thank you very much, Paul, for your introduction, and welcome everyone, in particular Mr. Flaherty, for honoring us today with your presence and your support of this project since the government grant allocation about a year and a half ago, so thank you very much. I also want to thank our speakers. Denzel, certainly your leadership in the community and of this ward is exemplary, and your support of the O'Connor House project over the past 6 years and more has been the cornerstone of our success, so thank you. Angela, whose support for this project is often not seen visibly, but we know we can count on your support and your advice, and certainly you're here representing the Toronto District Catholic School Board, and many of the people who are involved in the project are here, and the school board is the partner with O'Connor House, and we very much appreciate that. And a warm thank you to Sue, the administration, the teachers, the students, and everyone for hosting us today, and the special cookies that I know are now famous, so thank you for that. And for the media, the community, the O'Connor House supporters, families here, which is wonderful, neighbors, thank you all for coming out today. As a community member living just around the corner, I'm personally honored to be involved with the O'Connor House project, but there are many people who were involved before I took over the reign of the board about 15 months ago, and I can't thank everyone, but there are 4 people in particular. First of all, no event of this nature can be happening without thanking Mary Fay, who was one of the founding members and was the heart and soul of this organization since day one. And Mary, your personal accomplishments and with your army of supporters and volunteers over the many years is very, very wonderful, and I know Frank O'Connor would be proud of you, and I thank you personally. Dennis Timbrell's here. Dennis, your political savvy and your advice for me and the board over time is wonderful, and thank you very much. John Stevens, I don't think is here as our legal counsel, and Dennis certainly reminded me to thank him. It's rare perhaps when you get a legal person who does advice like that with such excellence and sense of humor, but also doesn't charge us, and John couldn't be here today, but thank you, John. And lastly, Jonathan Kearns from Kearns Mancini. Certainly you mentioned about the architect group being a very key contributor to our success, and Dan McNeil and Lucy O'Connor are here, 2 of the people that are representing Kearns Mancini, so thank you, Jonathan. And so today we're celebrating the end of phase 1 of the renovations, and it was kick-started, as I mentioned, a year and a half ago with the government grant. Phase 1 will be officially completed when we take occupancy of the main floor of the coach house in November. And I know Sue can speak to it, but the teachers and the staff are thrilled to be able to use the additional classrooms. And from an O'Connor House board perspective, we're working with our community partners. There are 8 groups represented to help shape how we're going to use the buildings for culture, for heritage, for the community, and for permit bookings. But it's really here for the school, and it's here for the community in general. But our journey doesn't end today. The O'Connor House board needs to raise about $3 million as match towards the federal government contribution to support our ongoing business operations and to finish the refinements that we need to make in the estate. So certainly your support for our fundraising efforts in the coming months will be very, very important. And certainly for the visitors that are here, if you want to get involved with the board or as a volunteer, certainly see me afterwards. That would be wonderful. But lastly, I'd like to speak to the students who are here in force, and thank you for coming out. Our efforts are largely directed at you. The school would not be here without the generous donation of the lands that are here from Frank O'Connor. And certainly we hope the celebration today will spark your desire to continue to be involved in the community and carry on in the tradition of the group that's involved today. So again, Mr. Flaherty, thank you, and for the guests for attending.